What's up, everyone? Marc Lobliner, CEO, MTS Nutrition. Huge stuff going on. First of all, hungry, so I'm gonna eat during this video. I got my MTS Nutrition Red Velvet Whey. Sludge. That shows you I'm a capitalist, because I just dropped a product promotion in there. So, huge day tomorrow for the U.S. Women's National Team. Going for the World Cup, man. The World Cup. When's the last time the U.S. men's team has gone for a World Cup? I am the biggest fan of the U.S. Women's National Team you will ever see. My daughter has a shrine to Carly Lloyd. In fact, Carly Lloyd sent my daughter a package. We have mutual friend connections, and my daughter nearly lost it. I'm absolutely in love with the team. I was a huge Hope Solo fan. Alex Morgan, I love her speed of play. I love her attacking ability. I love her quickness. I love everything about the team. Rapinoe, perfectly angled corner kicks every time. We're going to get to her later. You got press. You got such an amazing squad. And as a father of an Olympic hopeful, at least we like to think she is. Obviously, go, oh, your daughter. She's my daughter. Whatever her dreams are, I'm going to help her get there. As someone who coaches hundreds of girls at a soccer academy in speed and performance, I am the biggest fan of girls soccer. I like girls soccer better than men's soccer. It moves a lot slower if you watch them back to back, but I like the fact that women are a bit more technical sometimes. And I love the American team. I love the personality, the dynamic, the way they play together. I love them. And that's why I thought I'd add a nice perspective to this discussion on Megan Rapinoe telling Donald Trump that if they win the World Cup, she ain't gonna go to the White House. You know, I saw that first and I'm like, okay. You know, not the first one since Trump's been in office. We had some NBA teams. I believe Curry said he didn't want to go. You know, we've had some other, LeBron and Trump kind of went at it. That's kind of what Trump does. He instigates stuff, and again, like, I'm an independent. I like what Trump's done with the economy, but I'm not the biggest fan of his personality, but I'm not voting in a president for personality. So I looked at this, and then I saw Ann Coulter, a Republican pundit or a conservative pundit, go on and trash the U.S. team because I forgot who it was, one of Rapinoe's teammates went in and said, I don't want to go to the White House either. And that's called being a teammate. Like, sometimes even if she doesn't believe she wants to do it, she wants to back up her teammate. Rapinoe is an elder on the team, man. She's one of the KG veterans on there. She's a leader on that team. So for one of the younger players to be like, yeah, I got her back, that's what teams do. All right. And obviously I don't know what her athletic history is, but I doubt that Ann Coulter played sports at a high level. I've read Coulter's book. I believe it was Slander. And before you guys get at me, I've read a lot of books from a lot of Democrat writers. I've read a lot of books. I've read Hillary's book. I've read every book. I read a lot. I am a reader. All right. And I know you guys look at me and say, that guy must be illiterate. But I read. So I'm sitting here and I'm having this debate. And my daughter's watching this. And, she's in love with the Olympic team. And, we got to talking about it on our way, to one of her practices. And, it struck me. If I was invited to the White House, I don't really care who's in office. I'm going to go. Just say I win. How many people get the opportunity to go to the White House? That was my initial thought. But how many times do you have a platform where you get to express your ideals and your views, like Rapinoe has? If they win the World Cup, it gives her a platform female athletes don't usually have. In fact, there's a big hubbub of what to do about the U.S. Women's National Team getting paid so much less than the U.S. men's team when the women's team actually wins. The men's team, they're not that good. It is what it is. So she has an opportunity, forget seeing the White House, she has an opportunity to stand up for something that she believes in, and I might not agree with her stance. For me personally, I'm not a Trump enemy. I'm not a Trump hater. I'm not a Trump lover. I like a lot of things he does. I'm not a fan of a lot of the things he does. Just like Obama, just like George W. Bush, just like Clinton, just like George H. Every president I've voted for or been involved in the election I've liked, and I've disliked some of what they do. I don't toe a party line. So I think what Megan Rapinoe is doing is the most American fucking thing you can do. It is the most American thing you can do. Like, well, it's an embarrassment to America. I think it's the opposite. Let me explain why. And you Ann Coulter pundits and you pundits on the right, you need to listen up, because what you're doing is inherently anti-American. The beauty of this country is that you can sit there and tell the president he's an asshole. I've said Trump's an asshole 50 times on social media. I said it this morning on my Instagram story. And not get killed. And not get exiled. And not get persecuted. America and our First Amendment gives us the right to say, you know what? Fuck you. That's why the First Amendment and freedom of speech is so important. And one can argue that's why we have the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment, if you go sequentially, could be argued to be put in place to protect the First Amendment. Should a tyrannical leader get into power and try to delete the most important thing we have in this country, which separates us from the rest, which is the First Amendment, we can take up arms and overthrow the government through the Second Amendment. Granted, this was written before we had tanks and all that shit, but bear with me. I think this is a great statement and testament to how awesome the United States of America is. Megan Rapinoe is allowed to get sponsorship deals. She's allowed to play on the greatest women's team we will see tomorrow in the world. And she's also allowed to say she doesn't like the president. She doesn't just not like him. She will not accept an invite, which used to be one of the great, Forrest Gump going to the White House meeting the president. You know what I mean? Like, it used to be the thing. You go to the White House, no matter who's in power, and you say, hey, I'm at the White House. Whether a Republican or a Democrat's in office. And people tend to forget, I believe it was a hockey player who didn't want to go see Obama in office. This isn't the first time this has happened. Love him or hate him, that's pretty much where you side with Trump. Trump is not a middle-of-the-road president. You love him or you hate him. There is no in between, except if you're someone like me. I believe there are some free thinkers, those who don't identify as liberals or conservatives or Republicans or Democrats. There are some people out there who go issue by issue, point by point. Thinkers, people who refuse to align themselves with a party, people who like to question themselves, who like to prove themselves wrong. For example, I am a staunch capitalist. Capitalism has afforded me this wonderful life. Capitalism has afforded me the opportunity to work up from nothing, from a life of doing dirt on the streets to living in the beautiful suburbs, and my family is now building a house in Brentwood, Tennessee. Beautiful, 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 beautiful world we live in, where in this country, no matter what, your color, your creed, your nationality, I've seen so many people from all ends of the spectrum, from black to Hispanic to, like my mother, an immigrant from Israel via Poland. You know, she was born in Poland. I don't know if I got that backwards. Born in Poland, raised in Israel, came to the U.S., went back to Israel, served in their military, came back. This is the only country, to my knowledge, and I could be wrong, you could do that. We have our flaws as a country. We truly do. But we are still, in my opinion, and I've traveled the world, the greatest country, in my opinion. I will say I do love Australia. I do love Australia with all my heart. Australia, love you guys. I love going there. I love visiting there. I love the people. But I love my country, you know, and I'm proud of my country. And you know what? I'm proud of Megan Rapinoe. And I'm proud of her teammates having her back. See, there's two things at play here. One is loyalty to your team, and one is loyalty to your country. And I think what Megan Rapinoe is doing is actually more American than if she just backed down. Standing up for what you believe in and protesting, that's what got us where we are. She's not out violently protesting like Antifa. This is the peaceful form of protest that we asked for. Your Gandhis, your Martin Luther Kings. Peaceful discourse. a protest, a sit-in, speaking publicly. The difference is Martin Luther King didn't have Twitter. Martin Luther King didn't have Facebook. Martin Luther King didn't have YouTube. Martin Luther King had a microphone, a megaphone. Martin Luther King had news sometimes. Megan Rapinoe, do I agree with your move? Doesn't matter. You're allowed to say what the fuck you want to say in the greatest nation, the freest nation in the world. And that's the United States of America. Ann Coulter. Again, I liked her book Slander. I truly did. But to actually diss the female team for losing in that scrimmage 5-2 to FC Dallas United, FC Dallas Soccer Club, the U15s, 14-year-old boys. Well, Ann Coulter is the first one to argue against transgenders. I have a video on this coming next week. You know, there's many differences in males and females in athletics. And that is a hell of a club. And also, unless you're on the U.S. Women's National Team and unless you've ever played at that level, it's kind of like when I was a professional bodybuilder and I'd post pictures and people who never lifted a weight in their life would critique what I do. I'm not saying that there can't be armchair quarterbacks or NFL analysts on ESPN who never played football. I'm just saying you don't understand what it's like to compete at that level. And you don't understand it, and you need to shut the fuck up. Because her teammates take it up for her. That's what teams do. That's what teams do. A team is a combination of great individuals, a World Cup team. They're all individual, awesome people, all right? But when those individual, awesome people come together and form a team, you have to unite as one. I gotta be real. If I was on a team and I won a World Cup and every other teammate said, we're not going to the White House when we were invited, I'd go with my team. Because at that time, that's my team. And I don't think any of these pundits has ever played at such a high level to know that you rely on that team. Megan Rapinoe relies on her team to receive a pass and finish it when she does a corner kick. Megan Rapinoe relies on her team to feed her the ball. If she misses her mark, she relies on her teammate to pick up for her. You guys don't understand sports. You're just a bunch of couch potato jockeys who just sit on the sideline. Just because you're a pundit for politics doesn't mean you can be a pundit for sports. So stand proud, America. We're in a country free enough where we could have the greatest female soccer team in the world, potentially, we'll see. And guess what? That soccer team doesn't have to like the person in charge of the country. Look, she still loves her country. She loves it enough to make this stand. If that doesn't show that she wants to be better, her vision of better might not be the same as my version of better. And that's why we vote, right? Guys, I had to voice my opinion on this because I'm tired of seeing this shit. All right? We have the greatest country in the world, a country so great that you can do stuff like this. So I'd like to say, even though they will never see this video, and if they do, Carly, thank you so much for what you sent to my daughter. That was amazing. And to the rest of the team, best of luck. You do your thing. I'm very proud of you guys as an American, as a father whose daughter looks up to you guys as players and role models. And Megan Rapinoe, you are telling me one thing, even though I might not agree with it, all right? You're telling me that if you are convicted about something, to speak your voice. Don't be a sheep. Don't just follow along. America is the greatest country in the world because people spoke up. Because people said what they did. America, like it or not, was founded. We have some dirt. Like, our history isn't the greatest. But guess what? People like Rapinoe, who had the, I'm not gonna say ball, had the chutzpah, little Hebrew stuff, to speak up. They're the ones we need to thank. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts. Comment down below. That's not a game.